What is up, besties, and happy Tuesday. It's my final LEGO stream of the year, which sounds insane to say, but I'm really excited, and today I have the incomparable Alden Diaz with me. I'm so happy you're here, Alden. How is your holiday season going so far?
Scotty, I'm stressed. I got wine, I got you, and that's all I need right now. The end of the year really stresses me out, which might be a topic as we go.
I mean,
things ending, like these streams, or maybe not ending, but things finishing, like the last one of the year, the last this. It's a lot.
I know. I had a feeling you were gonna have wine, and part of me was like, should I get some wine also? And then I remembered the one time I did a Jedi Survivor stream after having a margarita. And it was fun for everybody else, but not fun for me. So
You're like, what might get said that can't be unsaid.
Exactly. Needless to say, that stream has been privated. I was like, no one needs to watch this one. It's not that good. But
quality control.
Hi, Scotty. You are an handsome angel as well. What if we hate Scotty's beard buck? Ooh, you're gonna get banned. Where's my admin? Oh, and Eli. Hello. How are you? Hi, Eric. Eric, you were
People checking in.
Yeah, Eric, and you were on this Zillow shit.
Zillow, the director of the new Godzilla says he wants to do a Star Wars, and it's like, that's right there. Like doing the Zillow Beast thing.
Ooh, that's true. I didn't think about that. And the Zillow Beast is literally Godzilla in Star Wars.
That's true. By the way, if at any point it looks to anybody like, why is he on his phone? Why am I looking? It's because I'm looking at the Lego building happen. I can't see it in the behind the scenes setup that we have, and I'm looking at your comments. So I am fully present, just for the record.
Yeah, Eric, I saw that I was in your compilation video. However, I didn't see what from my stream or what from me was in there, but I also haven't had a chance to watch the whole thing yet. But I did try to look. Hi, Austin. Hi, Darth Patty.
All right, Scotty, I'm looking at this right here. I'm looking at Lego Cam view.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little pieces there. How you feeling about your goal of potentially wrapping this bad boy up tonight?
I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really confident. No, I think I'll be able to wrap it up because all this in front of me is like a turret, and then I think I'm building the turret and then like the little like side pod gun thing that they sit in. So, and then we have to build the stand. But like the stand's not that exciting. It's just literally this is the stand. It's a bunch of black pieces. So I think I'll do good. I made the second wing a lot faster last week with Jerry than I did the prior week. So how are you feeling about it? Do you believe in me?
I do, and I'll tell you why. I have built exactly one Lego thing in my entire life. Or two. One was a little Thor, like, figure thing made for like a younger audience, and then the other was Anakin's Starfighter, which I did early in COVID when I was like, oh, let me try to pick up like new hobbies.
Yeah.
And I built one.
You didn't want to bake bread like everybody else?
No, because I would have been worse at that. But I definitely had this mentality as a child that I didn't want to play with things I had to put together. And maybe that was just like early onset laziness, but like I loved me a complete product. Give me the action figure or the doll or the Yu-Gi-Oh card or whatever that is just done. But like the some assembly required life was not for me. So I definitely respect what you're doing. You, Alex and Molly. I got some big Lego fans in my life. Nikki from Imperial Senate, Charlie from Imperial Senate, and much respect. And I love looking at the sets. That like Rivendell set that they released recently.
Oh my god, gorgeous.
Oh, it's incredible. But yeah.
That's crazy though. See, for me, I was always super into Lego as a kid. So I was gonna ask you, like, were you just not into it as a kid? But yeah, if you didn't like to put things together. That's so interesting though. I took a break. The BD1 Lego, which you can kind of see in the background here, was the first Lego I probably built in like 15 years. The first Lego set I ever bought for myself. So I don't know, there's something kind of relaxing to me about it, but I totally get it. If like looking at this is not relaxing to you, that is totally valid too.
I'm more like impressed by it. Like, it's just that, and again, I was also like this with puzzles. I've known a lot of puzzle people in my life that are like, this one is a 800 piece. It's the Golden Gate Bridge. I'm like, get that the fuck out of here.
I'm not a huge puzzle fan either, because that's a lot of shit. Especially like you said, 800, 1,000 pieces. Like, it's just, that's a little daunting for me. But who knows? Maybe I'd be into it if I tried. Hi, Trey.
Trey, Eric. Look at all these wonderful people. We're so lucky to have so many cool friends.
I know. I'm so happy, and some of them, it's their first time here. Thank you for showing up and showing out. What?
Look. Oh, Buck makes a great point here. The Lego Star Wars video game got me into the sets. Played the first one for hours, very drunk, some July 4th way back. Never found my way out of the first one. The Lego Star Wars game slaps. All of them. I love them all, from original to complete to Skywalker Saga. I really, really enjoy those. And the comedy of them, I think, is really cool.
Yeah, no, I would have to agree, honestly. Though I will say, this is going to be really controversial, so please don't hate me on social media going forward. I bought the Lego Skywalker Saga, and I played it up until about like the first level of A New Hope, and I haven't picked it up since.
That's a good chunk of the game, though. I mean, you did three movies, and you're not the only person that said that. I don't know if that's super controversial. It's a little bit more, I don't want to say overwhelming, but it's easy to just be like, am I accomplishing anything? Because it became open world. And
exactly. So I think the problem is, you know, I talked about getting back into Lego. What got me back into gaming was Jedi Fallen Order. So like going from like a super story driven game to like just bashing Legos, I was not mentally prepared for the game I was actually going to be playing. I was like, what am I supposed to do in this game? You're just supposed to have fun. But I guess to me, I was like, no, I'm ready for I need my Legos with some drama. Like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Fallen Order was a great experience to revitalize Star Wars games beyond the multiplayer. And I love Battlefront. I really do. I will still play it from time to time.
I'm horrible at it.
I suck.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
I need the co-op. The co-op mode changed my life. Yeah, I'm not I'll murk you. I'm super good. My scores. No, I'm terrible.
I was supposed to play just through the campaign mode for my podcast so we could talk about it, and I was like, I'll play on medium because like I game now and like I haven't played an FPS game in years, so I should be a lot better than I used to be. Fuck no. I was just as bad as I was when I was a kid, and like I got to the point of where I'm with Lando, and I think his name is Shriv, the Duros guy, on that like rocky planet that looks like it's like coal. I don't know. I haven't played it since. It's not for me. Yeah. Much love to people who can grind out and like do that shit on Battlefront, but like you will not see me there.
Did you at any point consider just dropping it to easy?
Oh, I did, and I still died.
You were so terrible.
What got me where I got stuck was Cloud City. When you're playing as like Aiden and the other guy who was, I really don't remember what it was.
From Inferno Squad?
Yes, the one, was it, his name's like Delmico. Is that his name?
Delmico. Yeah, Delmico.
Okay, with their powers combined, we'll figure it out. But yeah, they're on Cloud City, and I was horrible at the flying as well. That like cloud car, horrible. The TIE Fighter, horrible. I'm just not good at those games, I guess. I don't know. It wasn't in the cards.
My dream Star Wars gaming experience has yet to be realized, which would be you ever play Harvest Moon back in the day?
No.
So it's a series of farming games. And they have
Oh.
very loose story threads. Like my favorite was a PS2 game called Harvest Moon Save the Homeland, where you
Oh.
return to like your family farm and you take it over and you build relationships with the town. You can get married, you can get cows, chickens, pigs, all that shit. And so help me God, if they just gave me a plot of land on any planet and just said, here's some banthas and some puffer
Oh,
pigs,
okay.
like that'd be my dream. I don't need a single bit of violence outside of maybe shooting womp rats if need be, but like, nah, just let me be like a bantha. And
You
just,
know,
like, give it a little bath.
so a lot of people that I have talked to haven't played this game, and this is the closest thing that I can think of to like Star Wars Farmville, which is kind of what it sounds like you're describing. I played a lot of Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds growing up. If anybody in the chat has played it, please let me know, because every time I bring it up, everybody looks at me like I am making this shit up. But it was a like a World of Warcraft type game, a strategy game. I think that's what they call them.
World of Warcraft would be an MMO, an MMORPG.
Okay.
But granted, I haven't played what you're talking about, so I mean, it could be strategy.
But it's like that where you build like your little civilization and you have to mine like resources to build. Like...
Oh yeah, so like I get. Well, there is like the Civilization series.
Yeah.
I guess it would be like a civilization simulator or a city simulator.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it. So, like, you talking about having, like, banthas and stuff makes me think of that, because, like, you had to build farms on the game so you could, like, earn, like, food. It looked like red powder. I don't know. It was, like, which now I'm thinking about that. Red powder in Star Wars is, like, spice, but that's besides the point.
You were a drug lord, is what you're saying.
Basically. But, yeah, you would have, like... You would do food in your farms. You could have little banthas, depending on the planet that it like plopped you on. It was really fun. As expected, no one in the chat has probably ever heard of it. I'm like, I need to make a video about this game someday, because like I know somebody out there has also played it. It was really fun. I'd still play it now, honestly.
Sound off in the chat if you've ever sold spice in a game or in real life. Would love to know.
Eli said you were a drug lord. Says Alden says writing that down for Bastard Season 2.
Ionized Bastards plug where I play an Athorian lawyer.
Oh, okay. That sounds interesting.
My Star Wars RPG character. He's a crooked scumbag lawyer. I am looking at your progress here.
I know. I'm building like the turret. I'm building something here. Oh shit!
Have you considered hand modeling?
No, but I do put lotion on my hands every time before we do a stream, because I'm like, I ain't trying to have my hands looking crusty and dusty up in the camera. Because like
those are the behind the scenes tips and tricks that people don't know.
Gold Bond, not sponsored yet, but maybe they should sponsor me for these Lego streams. Because I mean, yeah, the camera is on my hands. I'm like, no one wants to see my face. They want to see the Legos. So
right.
I'm like, the hands have to be right if they're going to be up in the front of the screen. But
I agree.
You know.
I agree.
Now,
you got the instructions booklet out. Serious business down there.
I'm trying. I don't know if you can tell, and a lot of people didn't realize, but my desk mat is the Eye of Eldani. And I always try to get it like nicely in the image, because I'm like, it's so pretty. It looks a little scuffed up now because I keep eating on it, but you know.
That's good stuff.
Now,
what an episode.
I don't know about you, but something I've been thinking a lot about recently is like the upcoming stuff that we have going on next year, because I'm really missing specifically Star Wars animation. Is there anything you're super excited for or missing currently in Star Wars?
Well, let's stick with that for a second, because I don't. So were you weren't in London, right?
I was not in London. I'm poor.
Because I feel like if you were, we would have gotten turned.
Oh, for sure.
I would remember. I would definitely remember. So there was a Bad Batch Season 3 trailer. I don't know if it ever got out. I know a couple of the other trailers did. But there was a teaser trailer, because, you know, they're not going to... It was very fresh. the ending of season 2.
Oh, yeah.
When we went to London.
True.
And that we all mourned Tech during the panel and all that, but that Bad Batch season 3 teaser trailer is so fucking killer. It feels deeply cinematic, deeply character driven. Omega, because now she's been successfully captured and is in the Hemlock's facility. She's got like her hair kind of like swept back. She looks like a little scientist, like a little science intern.
Interesting.
And they might be like grooming her to be more like who we found out was her sister.
Yeah. Oh my god, I forgot about that. Shit.
Yeah, right at the end of the season. So very excited for all that. Sticking with animation, I mean, we know there's probably going to be a Visions 3, but that's probably going to be a lot longer because that's, multiple international productions. But Tales season 2 is being made. Do you have 2 Jedi? If we stick with it's about 2 Jedi, like season 1 was. Do you have 2 people that you want to do?
See, I'm really bad with that because anytime something gets brought up, I'm like, let's shoehorn the story of Dark Disciple into something so that way I get to see it in animation because I love it. But
hey,
because
could be something.
Well, and I don't. Have you read the book?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I like to think that Asajj Ventress displays the qualities of a true Jedi by the end of that book. So I'm like, you could totally give us a Ventress Tales of the Jedi story, but I would want like the true like full Dark Disciple experience. So 3 little 14-minute, 15-minute episodes aren't going to cut it for me.
Yeah, that's the hard part with something that dense that has so much backstory. Like if they were like, hey, we're gonna do 3 Asajj shorts and 3 Quinlan shorts, and and try to make it work and do that, like, cool. But it feels like the goal is to pick 2, not necessarily disparate, because Dooku and Ahsoka did function heavily in the same era.
Yeah.
But people that led different lives and didn't necessarily have an intimate connection, but the ideas connect. I mean, doing Bail and Skull feels like the biggest layup of all time. Like that's
what everybody seems
incredible.
to be talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love that. I'd love more Yaddle. I love Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, I didn't give a shit about Yaddle at all. Like, honestly, before Tales of the Jedi, and I kind of fell in love with her in that series. And she doesn't even have a huge part, but like when she's on screen, like, it's just so compelling. And I was literally just telling my best friend the other night, I think it might have been last night, honestly, just that image when she like uses the Force to push that door up, and as the light like shines through and you just see her silhouette. It's such a powerful moment. I'm so pissed because when I was doing reviews on that episode, the way that I was screen recording for Disney Plus was like, they'd done some updates in the background so it wasn't working, so I couldn't put any fucking video like in my review for it. I was so upset, but because I was like, I have to put this moment like in my review, it has to be a part of it. But
yeah, that scene is really, really affecting. God, it's a great character. I'm glad to be living in the Yaddle Sans. So yeah, excited for all that stuff. And we know, just because of how animation works, that whatever show comes after the Bad Batch is already being made, and probably is well into its first season. That's just how it is. Like when Bad Batch season 1 was coming out, the example I always go to is Bad Batch season 1 comes out and Fennec is in it.
yeah,
Fennec was animated for Bad Batch before Fennec debuted in Mandalorian season 1. Like, that's how far out animation has to plan because of how expensive it is, how much time it takes. So there's a lot of that. I'm really excited to see. What would you want the next animated series to be? The next full animated series.
I was gonna ask you that question, but I guess I'll try to think of something. So I feel like it's cheating to say that I want them to finish the unfinished Clone Wars arcs. I made a whole video about it. Like, I'd love to have that, but if we have to do something completely new, something that I would really like to see is a animated story following like the iconic characters of the original trilogy, like our Han, Leia, Luke, Lando stories.
post Jedi, like in the unseen times,
Yes.
or just wherever we find them?
No, I would really enjoy it in post like Return of the Jedi for sure. We've gotten books and stuff in that era, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I grew up with the prequels. I struggle to feel super connected with the original trilogy characters, though. In ranking the movies, I realized I guess I like Leia a lot more than I realized I did. I was just watching The Force Awakens the other day, and every time she came on screen, I cried. So I was like, wow, I guess I really like Leia a lot more than I thought I did. But I just want to like love all those characters more, and I think it would just be fun instead of shoehorning in these like CGI like monsters in the Mandoverse movies. Like, just tell their stories in animation too. I think there's a lot of fun that they could do with it. What do you think?
I'd be down for that. I mean, the idea of doing Luke's school is a huge layup that everybody likes, you know, and have the preteen Ben Solo and show what Han and Chewie were doing. We know Han was a professional racer for a while after the war when he was trying to just have a life and figure shit out, and Lando had his droid enterprise of you know, sort of the spiritual connection to his original partner L3 and all that stuff. So it's like there's plenty to play with there, and I would be super down with it. But I'm interested about you talking about Leia and how you didn't even realize how much more you liked her. But you also said that you're a prequels person primarily. And what I love about that is she not like the most prequel-y person in the OT? I think that makes perfect sense. Like, Leia is not only the sort of progenitor and like mom of all Star Wars women for being the first, but she's also like 70s and 80s George's first like dip in the pool of just how political he was gonna get as he got older.
That's so true. That's hilarious. It does kind of make sense now that you bring it up. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because I feel like I like her, and I find her more compelling than even Luke, which I feel like that's controversial to say, but like, it's my stream, so I can say what I want.
First of all, that. But second of all, I mean, even Yoda agreed in the story.
That's true. That's so true.
Yoda wanted to train Leia, in which case would have been a much quicker war. But yeah, I think Leia's fascinating. Did you read Princess of Alderaan? Because you'd really like it.
Of course not.
Of course not. You read.
So
Don't act like you don't read.
I'm not shy about saying this. When I like just started reading for pleasure, kind of
ever. I just learned
how to. I make that joke all the time because I didn't read like anything before, but I'm getting into Star Wars books. I don't know if it's because I'm more ingrained in the fandom at this point because like I'm a creator, or you know what caused it, but sorry, I fucked up this piece, so now I'm trying to get it all off and restart. But Dark Disciple is what got me into reading, because I was like, this is a story about Ventress. I really like her from the Clone Wars, so I'm going to read this book. And then from there, I got into... I'm trying to think of what I read after that. I want to say I read Battle Scars after that, because once again I was like, this is a story about characters that I really like, so like I know that this will be a good book for me to read because I should like it because it's got pre-established characters that I know I enjoy. I read that, really enjoyed it. Then I read Rise of the Red Blade. That one, it didn't click for me until afterwards, actually, while I was working on my review for the book, because as I kind of talked it out, I was like, now I actually understand what this book is saying. Because I didn't really talk to anybody about it. I guess I just needed to talk about it out loud. And right now, I'm finally reading Shadows of the Sith. So
one of my favorites.
And that's another reason why I'm like, ooh, I would really enjoy a story about these characters. Like, I didn't think I didn't think I'd love Luke and Lando together as much as I do, but they have a really fun dynamic.
They do, and it's almost because they, as characters, didn't realize that they were a good pair either. You know, it's because what I love about that is Luke and Lando. It's kind of like when your friend has a friend, and you're not sure if you're like, do I have an independent relationship with my friend's friend? Like that's Han's friend.
Yeah.
But Han's not here. So are we friends? Like it has that vibe of like we love each other, of course, as people. Like I've been there for you, you've been there for me. But it's like two middle-aged men now looking back and being like, I guess we are kind of close.
Yeah,
which I appreciate.
It's really great. I'm really enjoying it. I see that Eli was asking what am I thinking about the villains of Shadow of the Sith. Can I go into spoilers? Am I allowed to? It's been out for long enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my show, but I was about to say the same thing. Like, I think at this point, it's fine.
It's been out long enough. So I just got to the part of the book where Luke confronted Kiza on the her little asteroid, and so that finished, and then I read the chapter where like the droids, like I don't even know, where they give her a new arm, the droid arm, and like put the mask, combine it with the kyber crystals and shit, and that was where I finished. It was like, this is a good stopping point because I feel like some shit's gonna go down after this. So
I don't want to spoil anything for you, but people that have read it know the book is so metal fantasy at points that are coming up that it's just like, if you love the Jedi, which you clearly do, I mean, especially with the books that you listed, like,
yeah,
you're like me in that way. Like, I love the sword and sorcery, I love the drama of the light and dark and all that, and it's not to say I don't like the other parts of Star Wars, I do, but oh, you're about to be so satisfied. How are you feeling about Dathan and Miramir so far?
I hate Miramir's name. But I did learn, I think it was Star Wars Sublight who pointed out, it might have been last stream actually, because I've really been like powering through the book, like I've been going fast recently because it's getting really good. And they had said that Adam Christopher named her after a city in New Zealand, I think, because he's from there.
He's a New Zealander. That makes sense.
So I was like, okay, like I'll let him have that, but I really don't like her name.
It was hard for me being from South Florida because there's a prominent city called Miramar, and it's too close.
And that's what I always want to call her. Miramar,
Florida. Miramar, Florida. Ray's mom, Miramar, Florida.
But that's not her fucking name.
I love the amount of fantasy, like sort of sweeping romance that they do in little bursts. Like,
yes, not
only is she this wonderful woman, and you can see very quickly where Ray gets certain things. Like, there are certain things that it's like, obviously these can't be genetic, but being around it via osmosis as a kid, like, you know, when your parents are good at something and you just end up being good at it, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that with her and Ray.
I do love that.
But then just like the stuff that sticks with me is like Dathan, obviously his origin chapter is so brutally sad.
Extremely.
And just gross at times of what he went through.
What do they call him? The Abomination?
The Abomination. And
Poor
Sidious
thing.
let him walk around just as like a monument to the experiments, but not because he cared. Like, it's just. But then he meets this woman in the twilight forests on the planet Hypercarn, living with her grandma, just being wonderful.
That I did really enjoy. That chapter where it gives kind of like their backstory of first meeting, where he's like, oh, I was gonna ask you if you want to have lunch with me, and she's like, no, like I was actually gonna ask you instead to have lunch with me and my baba. And I'm like, oh, if like she's asking him to have lunch with her and her baba, like it's serious.
Yeah, come meet my family.
Yeah, I actually in preparation for me and Jerry's epic confrontation match, I was like, I need to rewatch the sequel trilogy really bad, because I need to give it another chance now that I've come around to it. And I will say, like, yes, reading Shadows of the Sith does kind of like help flesh out that story. I think it'll also help the most when it comes to Rise of Skywalker. I haven't rewatched.
You have no idea. You
But
have no idea. I don't want to give anything away, but like there are things by the end of this book that because okay, it's not a spoiler to say everyone that reads Shadow of the Sith for the first time is like, how the fuck is Luke getting so close to Rey in the plot?
I know.
And not meeting her. And is that too hard to believe? And by the end of it, you're like, no, it's beautiful. It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for you.
It's
I'm excited for you.
But you mentioned like seeing that Rey's good with like tinkering with things, and she's good at flying because her mother was building her own droid. She's like picking through I don't remember what it's called, but when she like picks the kind of lockbox on the yacht that they steal, and she's like, yeah, I can probably figure it out. I mean, she taps into the yacht to be able to fly it away, like, and it all makes sense now. So when I'm watching The Force Awakens, I was like, oh, like this is making sense that Rey can do all these things. Because I'm not gonna lie, I was a part of the people that was like, why is Rey so good at everything? But it makes sense when you know like her mom was also really good at this stuff, and it's kind of like you said, that osmosis of I mean, I'm even have that myself. My parents both do IT in like computer security for the government, and I work in IT now.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, and it's like obviously it's not something you can inherit, but the influence is undeniable.
Exactly, because she grew up around it.
Mm-hmm. No, it makes perfect sense, and you'll start to see a lot more of how things influence other things. It beautifully irons out certain logistics about Rise that even as me, who's someone who really loves the movie, there are certain things where I was, example, without spoiling how the book does it, one thing in Rise that kind of falls apart when you think about it a little bit is if Ochi showed up and took her parents and you see her being like, come back, how come Ochi doesn't look in his fucking rear view and see that she's right there?
Oh, screaming, come back, and whining, and quiet.
Yeah, like
girl.
if you're looking for the girl,
She's right
screaming right there from where you took off. The book
Yeah.
handles that, and the book handles that, and you realize like what you saw is maybe not what you think you saw, and there's some very, very clever navigational like sort of plotting.
It also made it heartbreaking though. Like, thinking of her throughout the entire movie in The Force Awakens, like, being like, oh, I'm waiting for my parents. I kept yelling at the screen. I'm like, they're not coming back. They're dead. Like, girl, you gotta move on. It was so frustrating because I'm like, I know what she's gonna grow into. I know Rey's gonna come into her own and, like, accept her place in the galaxy. But it's just so sad at that time that she's holding on to oh my god, no wonder I can't get this in. I didn't have it lined up right. But I'm like, it's sad because I know now. I know what's going on. I know more than the characters. But that's the fun about reading. And I was missing out on that for so long.
Mm-hmm. It was like, where do you find them? Especially with something that is the transmedia stuff of Star Wars, where it's the television, the games, the movies, the comics and books that you, like you said it best there. I know more than them. Mm-hmm. And I know sort of like there's that early chapter with Luke, Lore, and Ben.
Jesus Christ. No, I'm breaking
And then
this.
you're like, I know what happens to all these guys. You got Lore Santeca visiting the kid that will kill him.
Yeah.
And it imbues so much more weight into all of it. And it sort of highlights something that I've really always liked about the difference between Rey and Luke. 'Cause she gets accused a lot of being like, Force Awakens in general gets accused a lot of being a ripoff of New Hope, which I have my problems with people saying it, but whatever. One thing I like that I've always liked that Rey and Luke are inverse on is that Luke believes in himself, but he does not believe in the power of the Force until later.
Yeah.
So, example, like this kid gets the call to adventure and is, there's of course the tragedy of Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, but he's very quickly like, all right, Obi-Wan, like I'm ready to go with you and be a Jedi like my father, and I'm gonna train on the Millennium Falcon, and we're gonna go save the princess, and we're gonna go here, and I'll jump in an X-wing and join a military that I just met. Like he's He's in it.
Yeah.
Ray, but he doesn't believe in the power of the Force. You know,
Yeah.
always with you, it cannot be done. I don't believe it. That's why you fail. She struggles with that. Ray's the opposite. Ray knows the stories. Ray knows what a Jedi mind trick is. Ray knows the myth of Luke. Ray knows all these things and is very open to the power of the Force. It's lifting rocks, right? Like, I got that. Yeah, it's cool. It's great. She doesn't believe in herself, though. And Luke knows he's the main character. Ray does not.
That's a great way to put it.
Ray is super... So I've always loved that, like, yeah, they are, like, the two kids from sand planets, but they're opposite sides of the coin in that way. And then Anakin's problem is that he believes in everything too much. Himself, the Force, his Riz, everything.
Not the Riz. Oh my god, I don't know if y'all can tell, but I, like, fucked this up. Alden, I don't know if you looked at your screen, but, like,
I'm pulling it up now when you said that. I'm looking at it here.
I'm breaking things.
It doesn't look broken.
Well, this whole piece, kind of messed some things up a bit. This is the fun of Legos. This is why you don't build them. Now it all makes sense.
This is why I leave it to the master builders. You know what I love is that when you get to this point in a Lego set, I feel like, and tell me if you agree as someone who builds them.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine it's more frustrating when you're this close to the end.
Yeah, I'm pretty frustrated right now.
Because progress slows down, and you're like, it fucking looks done. Why isn't it done?
Yeah, we're gonna worry about that after the stream, so we just won't put that part on right now. No one wants to watch me fuck it up. They want to watch me do it beautifully. This is why when you posted saying watching a master builder, I'm like, this little container of extra pieces, and as we can see what just happened now, would like to say a word. Sometimes it do be like that. Okay. Now, you did not get to say what you would like to see as an animated series going forward, did you? Mm-hmm. That's what I struggle with. Mm. Ooh. Like a solo, or not a solo story. Poe, a Dameron story. Yeah, I told you my history when it comes to reading.
That's true, but you're reading now. What better time?
It's a lot. I want to get into the High Republic. I feel bad because everybody's like, "Oh my god, it's so queer, it's so great, there's so much representation." And I'm like, I should be into that, but I'm just like, there's so much. I haven't had time to get into it. I can hear you, yeah. Is it my mic? It did, and I have no idea how that happened. Yeah, you were on 0. Okay, now you're back.
We're back. Anyway, I was just telling Scotty that they should dive into Avar, Stellan, Elzar.
Yeah, I always joke that my knowledge of the High Republic comes from Survivor, with Dagan Gera and Santari Kree, and that's about it.
Dagangara, or back when I thought his name was pronounced Dagan, I called him Dagangara Business.
Not Dagan Gara business.
Fuck that guy, by the way. Just fuck him. One of the
I'm
most satisfying bosses to just beat.
I am bad because I'm like, he's bad, but I love him. Like, Daddy, I love him. Very bad energy. I was like, fuck Bode. Bode pissed me off.
Bode, I think Bode is a more compelling character, but definitely, yeah, more infuriating for sure. Bode broke my heart, and also his daughter being so involved in it made it like activated like whatever my latent paternal instincts are. like every time that she was even remotely yelled at or in danger in that third act, I was like, you step it up and you be a good father, god damn it, put this aside.
Honestly, and then like they kill him in front of her, and she's just like, oh well, he wasn't doing what he should have did. And I'm like, girl, where's your trauma?
He is gonna have a rough next 10 years, I feel like. And I like that she was like present of mind enough to be like, you know, that wasn't really him anymore.
Yeah,
like I guess that's what it's like to live with a Darksider.
true.
And see it happen in real time.
Ooh, there is some trauma there. Woo, that's deep.
But yeah, it's sad, man. Good kid though. Now he can be raised by goth mommy, greasy money, and I was gonna say top notch, but I guess not for everybody. Depends on what what hairstyle you decide to go with.
Believe it or not, my Cal has a shaved head.
No.
And it's funny because it's not because like I want him to look like me or anything. I just think the shaved head looks hot. Shaved head and mustache. I'm like, give me some of that.
Long, windswept hair, full beard for the longest. And once I defeated Dagan Gara Business, and then I was like, okay, this is a great story moment for Cal to change his look. So I put the hair up into the bun, and then went with the like very Errol Flynn like swashbuckly goatee. It's like mustache and pointed beard. And I use blaster stance a lot, so it looks like he's fencing.
Interesting. That probably works out with your little squashbuckling vibe. But I get that. That's the fun thing about the customization that they put in there, is because at one point I was like, I'm gonna change my outfit for every planet, because every planet, you know, Jedda's cold, Kobo is definitely hot. Like, just little like fun things that make your game like more of your thing. It was so funny. One of my friends IRL had finally started playing Survivor. He was like, I never beat Fallen Order. I just like finished a playthrough and I'm gonna start Survivor tomorrow night. So he was texting me, like telling me about his experience, and he was like, do you want to just like come over on Friday while I play? And I was like, you know, I want to come over and watch you play. And it was just it was so fun to watch somebody like experience it for the first time, like the reveal of Cordova. Like nothing was spoiled for my friend, so it was so satisfying. I was like, I love this. I'm like, just keep playing. You just gotta get to Jeddah. You just gotta get to Jeddah. Like, it was really fun. Also, hi, Tet.
Hello.
Not you saying Jerry should raise Bode's kid. I'm sure Jerry would do a damn good job with that.
Jerry said I was ready to lift a car for Bode's daughter.
Oh my god, that does not surprise me. I talked a lot of shit about her.
I hope that when we see her again, that she's like wearing a leather jacket and like has a little mullet. Like I want her to be like Marin's little buddy.
That's so funny, because I was telling my friend, I was like, oh, you missed it. Marin got turned out by her girlfriend in the book, so now she's got a mullet and a leather jacket.
Hell yeah. When we'd already seen imagery of what Marin looked like in the game when Battle Scars came out. So when you read Battle Scars and it's like, oh, it's Fret, right?
Yeah.
Marin's girlfriend. When it's like Fret has a mullet, I was like, some bitch ruined her so bad she's gonna take her hairstyle. It was so good. I also love probably my favorite. It's not played for comedy, but God, it's comedy. Cal being like, Oh, Marin sealed her door with Night Sister magic. She must be practicing in there really hard. She's been working so hard lately on her magic. And it's like, meanwhile, Marin's in there, like, breaking the bed with her girlfriend. It's like, poor Cal, sexless little boy.
I know. And then Tet, who just popped into the chat, they brought up in my Discord, they were like, Cal has psychometry. So what happens if he just, like, goes to sleep at night? And
Just
like,
goes and, like, puts his hand on the door when Marin's, like, in the shower or something. Like, yeah, I wonder.
that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he probably wouldn't mind that much. Well, he might be a little jealous, but, you know, he wasn't going to admit
Cal
it at
just
that
had
point.
to wait. He just had to wait a couple more years. He got his smooch.
True.
I also really like the real. I don't want to say real life because everyone's life's different, but like the emotional reality of so many of us, not everybody, but so many of us, myself included, played Fallen Order and we're like, I love these two kids. I want them to get together.
Mm-hmm.
But the emotional maturity of like Sam Maggs and the writers of the game to be like, no, they got to live some life first. Like, it doesn't make sense yet. Like, not everybody, even people that are meant to be together and are friends early, they have another relationship. They go and they get their heart broken, and then they're like, oh, my person was there.
Yeah.
And I really like that. I like that it happened in the second game, and I hope that things go well for them wherever if they want to live on Tanalorr forever or whatever happens, because
I'm interested about
every Jedi that's not in the original trilogy or now in Ahsoka's live action show is suspect for death at some point.
Yeah, I'm working on a video about the new Jedi Order movie, and I was calculating the ages of people like Jedi or Force users whose deaths we're not aware of and how old they would be. And of course I'm going to mention Cal because I'm biased and I love him, but I was also like, last we knew, and I think it was 12 ABY, or 12 BBY was the last we knew that he was alive, and this movie's taking place in like 50 ABY, so I'm like, there's still a chance.
Yeah, I mean, you want to cast someone, a lot older. I've always joked, like, Cal or somebody from that era should just get, thrown in carbonite or something and then awoken by Rey. That way they don't age.
Well, they did it with Dagon. It worked with him. And that was 2 centuries, so...
Bacta can keep you alive for that long. We know this now.
Put me in some Bacta shit.
You afraid of aging, buddy? You afraid of getting a little older?
If I don't start exercising soon, yeah.
You telling. Maybe 2024 will be the year that I attempt something, a light jog.
A nice light jog. It's when I get out of my computer chair and walk around the house a little more,
Yeah, instead of like Uber Eatsing from McDonald's down the road, I'll just go get it.
Oh my god, don't even get me started on... I kept seeing a meme. One of my friends posted it. Was like, why would I want to go to my kitchen and cook food when I can spend $900 on delivery?
Oh god, it's so true. Honestly, like, that being invented was bad for all of us.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I want to ask you something that is not about Star Wars at all.
Please.
Because I need people to talk about it with. You're a fan of Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, right?
Hell yeah. Yes, absolutely.
So what'd you think about the new Season 2 teaser?
Loved it. Really, really loved it. I think it was a perfect amount of story and drama for a tease. It's not giving full dialogue. It's just a couple key lines, and one of those key lines, I've been saying it in my head since it dropped, which is there is no war more hateful to the gods than a war between kin. And it's so the drama of that, of like this world, which we know if you've watched the show or read the books, the original show, it's an awful place. It's fucking horrible, just like objectively awful. The moral code of Westeros is bad. The treatment of anyone that is not a man of high status is largely awful. But even that world has a line that they don't cross, and there's 2 lines. It's kinslaying and breaking guest rights. If someone's a guest in your home or your castle, no harm's supposed to come to them. It's supposed to be respected. That's what's so nasty about what happens in Game of Thrones with the infamous Red Wedding. And then the other thing is kinslaying. You don't do that. You don't turn against your own. And so it just adds so much pain to everything. And I really love these characters, and I'm very excited.
I'm very excited as well. And as I was watching the trailer, I was like, or the teaser, I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna need to rewatch season 1 because I can't remember whose dragon is who's on what side, what some of the characters' names are. Like, don't get me wrong, like, when we had Andor, House of the Dragon, and Rings of Power going, I was, like, in fantasy nerd heaven.
Oh, yeah.
But I think, other than Andor, of course, House of the Dragon was my shit. Like, and it made me miss the whole, like, you have a night dedicated to a show. That's why I'm happy that Ahsoka was, like, a night dedicated to a show. But
yeah, switching to the Tuesday night slot versus the Wednesday morning slot was infinitely better for everyone involved.
Well, except in the UK. But
you know what? Fuck them. We won the war.
You're not wrong. You were not wrong.
I'm not a patriotic person, but in that moment, I was. When it was like, America gets the show, so I can watch it with my chicken tenders on Tuesday night. Yeah. Forget the Brits. No, but really, yeah. I mean, you win some, you lose some. But, I mean, they're getting all the Doctor Who extras now. We're only getting the episodes. We're not getting any of the bonus content. We're not getting any of the stuff they're putting on BBC iPlayers. So, you know what? It just be like that sometimes.
Luckily, I am not a Whovian.
Yet.
You say yet, but I'm like, I gotta keep up with this Star Wars shit. I barely have time for other shows.
But what I will say, not to pressure you, next year, on Christmas this year, so a few weeks away, the new Doctor, played by Ncuti Gatwa from Sex Education, is debuting in the Christmas special. When Ncuti fully takes over the role next year, they are calling it season 1. It is designed for people to jump in now with nothing else.
Interesting.
So, like, yeah, the history happened. It's not a reboot. But they are being like, Doctor Who will be the only show that has 3 season 1s. There are 3 distinct points where you can just be like, I don't know anything. Let me try it. So, I'm just saying. I'll hold your hand if you want.
Well, speaking of, like... Oh, hi, Brian. How are you?
Brian.
I will say I do love Matt Smith, and he was a doctor, and I think he's hot. And he's great in House of the Dragon, so...
She's so good in House of the Dragon. I'm a Damon guy. I love Damon.
I don't love Damon, but I love Matt Smith, so, you know, take that as you
I think
will.
that's what it is. Like, Damon is objectively not a great guy. But he's also, when he's right, you can't help but be like, he's fucking right. Like, the way everything went down by the end of the first season, you're like, Damon, Rhaenyra let him off his leash. It's time to mop him up.
Honestly. And he's got his battle armor in that teaser and shit. He's gonna go fucking ham. Did you read any of the books? Because I did not. Like, no surprise there. Told you I didn't read.
I have read the first Game of Thrones book years ago when I was in high school, and I think I just wasn't paying enough attention to it. So then I became a show watcher, watched all that. I've consumed the details, but have not picked up Fire and Blood. So it's like, I know what's gonna go down in this show, but I'm not a book reader of it. I should be, and I want to be. It's just a matter of time, you know. Like, it's like I'm just now on Eye of Darkness. That's what I'm reading right now. And so, but I couldn't get to Eye of Darkness until I finished the Kira book, because I am somewhat obsessive about my to-read pile and how there's an order, and like I can't move on to the next thing until I finish another thing, and it's a flaw.
I mean,
I don't want to be this way, but I am.
I'm right there with you, though, because, like I said, I'm a new reader. Literally, Shadows of the Sith took me a long time to get into, and I realized it was because it's an adult novel. But I'm kind of the same.
So Battlescar.
Really?
Battlescar. Actually, everything that you mentioned is technically an adult novel. Battle Scars is. God, why am I forgetting? Dark Disciple is.
I thought Dark Disciple was a young adult. I could be wrong.
Well, here's the thing. Here's a misconception. You're not giving yourself enough credit. And when I clear up this misconception, you'll be like, I'm a better reader than I thought I was. YA is not an indicator of reading level, which is a thing that bookstores have kind of unintentionally, it's not the bookstore's fault, but because bookstores sort things and show YA as a section, and because YA stands for young adult, it became, a widespread notion that YA was like a lesser reading level, like middle grade. Middle grade, like some of our, the junior Star Wars novels and things, those are a reading level thing. YA is called young adult because it is fiction about young adults.
Oh.
So when you think about it, Leia, Princess of Alderaan, that's teenage Leia. When you think about Midnight Horizon in Pirate Republic, that's, Reith Silas and a few of the other Padawan characters. Like, Twilight is about, Bella's in high school.
Okay.
So it's about young adults. It got called YA, and then Americans just kind of decided it was lesser. But so technically I think you can make an argument that Battle Scars is YA. It just depends on, I guess Cal's over 18 by that point, so it's, it's a semantics game.
Yeah.
But now you've been reading adult books.
Okay, well, I mean, I'll take it. I was gifted in
Eli says
school.
Dark Disciple is YA. So maybe I'm wrong about that, but either way. But then that's interesting because those are adults.
Who knows?
It's grown. You said you were gifted?
Yeah, I was a gifted kid. I'm a former gifted kid, so you'd think I'd read more.
Do you feel former gifted kid burnout?
Oh,
About,
for
like, being labeled early, like, fuck you.
Yeah, for sure. But also on top of that, I was like, I care more about the arts than being smart, so I'm just gonna do my art shit. So I lucked out.
You were a drawing kid or a painting kid or something?
I was it's funny, I started out doing visual art, so I drew a lot when I was younger, and then I got into choir, and then I got into band. So throughout elementary school, or not, through middle school I did band, high school I did symphony and choir. So I've always been doing some kind of art. And it's funny because I'll talk to people and ask other creators, I'm like, do you consider like your video content art? And the majority of the people will be like, no. I'm like, I kind of consider mine a form of art in the sense that that sounds really pretentious, but
it doesn't.
In the sense that it fills my creative outlet.
And I think it depends on sort of like what you put into it. Like, this is not an insult to anybody that does this. You do this. Our friends do this. This is not an insult. Reaction videos are not art to me. However, other stuff, like you mentioned earlier, like I really would like to get this specific shot in my review video essay about this show, and this shot means this because that's art. Mm-hmm. So I think like even sometimes on one channel you'll find examples of both.
Yeah, true.
And I think a good conversation can be art if the interviewer is trying to bring out a certain tone. Is that any different than good theater? That I don't know. I don't think it is.
It's
a weird question. What's art and what's not? I mean, like, that's like, we hear it all the time in music and movies. So the two, like, that's not art. That's just a top 40 bullshit, whatever. Okay, well, I'm sure it was really fucking hard to make.
Yeah.
And it probably took like 20 different people in the producing level and the musicianship level and the singing level. So it's a difficult conversation, but it is, you being younger, like, and wanting to maintain that, I think is why you put so much into it. I remember you posting like about was it your Red Blade review, or you were like the one that you were like it took you a long time to make, or was that your Battle Scars one?
I didn't do a review on Battle Scars. I did do one on Rise of the Red Blade though.
Yeah, because that's where you really like started to work out your thoughts in real time, you were saying.
Yes, exactly.
And figure that, like, that's the vulnerability of art, no doubt. So that's a conversation that is very nuanced. What is and what isn't, and sort of like the eye of the beholder. Like,
Yeah.
We got Jerry in the comments, like, Jerry watched the new Godzilla and he cried. And a lot of people have been reacting that way. And it's like, is every Godzilla movie art? I don't know. But, like, there's definitely art in them.
Yeah.
You know, you had someone have to design that creature, design that suit, do that clay, do whatever special effects. So, before we get too far away from it, I was going to ask you what you played in band.
Oh, so it's funny. I actually played percussion. However, I learned from doing that it was not something I was super passionate about. But I did it through middle school and high school. And I ended up switching to, for anybody who is a musician, I ended up switching, you've got like the drums and then that aren't pitched instruments, and then you have like the pitched percussion instruments like xylophone, marimba, timpani, different things like that. So I started doing a lot of the pitched instruments just because it gave me something a little bit different. The way the music is written is different because, like I said, there's notes. It's not just like beats, to put it in layman's terms. So
Yeah.
I don't even know why I stuck with it as long as I did. I think it's just because I was used to it. But singing was definitely much more of a passion of mine and what I had done the longest. But, you know, there's the whole, like, choir gay stereotype, and, like, there's a whole, like, I remember in elementary school, it's like, really embarrassing to say now, but, like, the cool kids that I wanted to be friends with were like, ew, chorus is gay, blah, blah, blah. So I skipped one of my chorus performances in elementary school. This was 5th grade. Because they were like, yeah, it's gay, it's not cool, you shouldn't do it. And I was like, y'all are right, I shouldn't do it. And then
I'm positive that those kids right now have the worst jobs and the worst marriages.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
that for a fact.
I see them at dive bars. And I'm like, oh, you look really bad. This is why I don't go to bars near my parents' house. Like,
Do you still sing?
yeah.
What is your, you know, how do they word it? Like your
Voice
range classification? Yeah. What is your part? Yes. Are you a soprano?
I'm definitely not a soprano, though my falsetto used to be better than it is now. It used to be pretty good, but I sang tenor 1 and 2. Well, and I think I did baritone. But now I think I'm more of a tenor 2 baritone. But I've been working on my higher range again, like my head voice and my falsetto, so it's getting better.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful to get it back up to where it used to be. I mean, it's like any art. If you don't stick with it, you know, you got to kind of refresh yourself on like how to do it.
Absolutely. I did, you know, high school theater and then some community theater and things, and so I don't have a lot of experience. I know that if I was going to go back and try to sing some of those parts now, I couldn't.
What did you
Like,
sing?
A bass baritone.
That makes sense. You have a deep
The
voice.
way I talk is the way I sing, yeah. So I was like villain parts and things like that, which I love. So that was cool. But the breathing exercises and the, you know, don't have dairy for like a month before the show, and like everything that you try to stick, you know, get your teas and your warm ups, all that stuff. We had an amazing mentor back then who had done Broadway stuff, and
Ooh, I love that.
She was the best. And yeah, I miss that stuff. But it's like, as you get older, it's like, what do I have time for out of the things that I like? You know, like we talked about reading, we talked about gaming, we've talked about singing, and it's just like, at some point between that and like having to pay your fucking bills, it's a miracle if you can do anything you enjoy.
Exactly. And it's funny because, you know, I mentioned I did music for so long before I even created my Star Wars like channel and content, and was even in the fandom online. And one of the main things I was like, even though I'm not doing music as much anymore, I really want to find a way to incorporate music into the content that I do. And it's not that it was hard to do it, but there was nothing that kind of organically came to me as a way to do it. I think the first thing that I did was when I did my holiday special, where I dressed up as Princess Leia and sang the song from the holiday special on my channel.
Which is such a good idea that it should honestly be a series. Like, could you cover Lapti Neck? Could you cover Jedi Rocks?
Oh shit. Yeah,
you cover?
not a bad idea.
Fuck. Could you cover Weird Al's "The Saga Begins"?
Interesting. I honestly should look into that because I was like, okay, what's something funny that I can do for the holiday? It's not serious, but just like a thank you for like subscribing, blah blah blah, you know. And that's when I came up with that. And then I was like, I listen to a lot of lo-fi. I can produce music. Let me try to make some lo-fi, which I had never done before. And one of the things I was like, let's try to do lo-fi songs that haven't already been done. Because even starting my YouTube channel, I was like, I'm queer. I want to create a space for other queer people who also like Star Wars, that and allies, of course. Because there's just a void of it. There wasn't a ton of creators, and there's even way less now than when I got into the fandom. Like Pink Milk isn't a thing anymore, and I know they were kind of like the spearhead of the queer corner of the fandom. And just in general, I was like, okay, what's a song somebody hasn't done that I like? And I was like, nobody's done Cordova's theme from Jedi Fallen Order. I love that track, so I'm gonna make a lo-fi track to it. So I did. And that's what I have playing like at the beginning of my streams with the countdown. And then the next one I did after that was from Knights of the Old Republic, because there's like no Knights of the Old Republic lo-fi at all. And I really loved the Dantooine Outback track, so I did a lo-fi version of that. And not only do I get to like just create music, obviously, but what I like to do is to look up the actual sheet music for the songs and kind of recreate the sheet music in my production program, and then take pieces of like the melody from different instruments like around the track that stand out to me and use that to kind of create the song. So it's almost like a two-part process, but it's really fun. I need to do it more often.
I love that, and I loved the KOTOR video. I really did. I thought that was such a good idea.
Thanks.
For something that I think was like a sense memory thing for people that played that game when they were kids. Yeah. And when you put that out, it was like, oh fuck, that is a great sound. Like it sort of just comes rushing back to you.
Yep.
Which I really appreciate. And there's a lot of, I think, picking the underrated tracks and the more forgotten places is what's really cool about that idea.
Well, and I think, and I'm very thankful that like I am a musician, because I think that helps a lot, because something that might stand out to me may not stand out to somebody else necessarily. Because when I listen to music, like I can kind of shift through and focus on certain parts of the production or whatever, and focus on certain melodies that may be more in the background. So that kind of helps me pick out things that I want to include and make more prominent in the song that I create. I'm trying to do... I've always wanted to do something for Ahsoka because she's one of my favorite characters, and I loved at the end of the series that they did... it's like called Epilogue 2, but it's a lot of the same of... what is that track from Rebels? It's like where the sun sails and the stars something. I don't know. It's a very beautiful track, but it's basically like very similar, and good for the Kinders for recycling it because it's so good.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of...
And the storytelling of like shared tracks is so key to Star Wars. Like
yes,
what pops up where and what doesn't, when you choose to do a new thing versus an old thing is such a high pressure choice, and they did such a good job with that. I think the Ahsoka show score is phenomenal.
It's gorgeous.
It's got such a great mix of new and old.
So gorgeous. I love it. It was so good. And that's funny because that's the thing a lot of people complain about with the Kenobi soundtrack, is they're like, this has none of those old like nods to like, where's Duel of the Fates, where's Anakin's Dark Deeds, where's Battle of the Heroes, and there's all those edits where people have put the music to it and whatever. And would it have probably helped with the story? Yeah, but that was...
Which is almost like, it's a thing that I understand, where I completely understand both points of view. Like I respect the huevos to not do it. Like I think that one of the bravest creative moments in all of modern Star Wars is Ludwig Göransson making a new theme for Luke fucking Skywalker.
Yeah.
When he showed up in the Mandalorian finale, regardless of how anyone feels about him being there,
Yeah.
the fact that that track is so good and feels so right for a character who is the character and
Literally.
has music that we associate with him, just like the balls on that, man, and to do that and give Boba Fett his theme and which I love, and all the stuff that has emerged now with new characters like Baylan and Shin with the kindness,
Oh yeah, Balin's theme is a fun one.
the piano, and just everything about it. It's so methodical.
All right, we're on to the stand. We are on. Oh, I get to build the minifig. This is what everybody's been waiting for. Also, hi Connor. I didn't see that you popped in.
Connor, go Birds! Go Birds! I don't even follow sports. I just support Connor.
Oh my god, I don't know shit about sports. You're like, go Birds. I'm like, go Birds, bestie. Like,
Connor, clip that out. Go Birds, bestie. keep that with you for when times are tough.
oh shit, I think I need scissors for this. What kind of wine are you drinking? And don't say
It is
red. I want to know all the details. I'm a wino.
I'm not a wino, but I do know this is a Italian Chianti 2014, I think. It's like it's called like Adventure Series or something like that. It's good.
Oh, adventure series. You going on an adventure?
This is an adventure, baby. You're building a gunship. You're building a gunship.
Yeah, I do love a good red wine. I usually switch to white in the summer because it's nice to have a little cold white wine, but I can't do that sweet shit. Everybody supports Connor and the Birds. Who are the Birds? Is this baseball? Is this football?
Who are the birds? The Birds are the Eagles football team.
Oh. Okay. Oh, that's Mace Windu's bottom. I feel like it was one of my super early streams. Somebody was like, "Oh, I can't wait to see the minifigs," and I was like, "Bessie, you're gonna have to wait a while till we get to them because they're like in the last bag." Sure enough.
They make you wait for the characters.
I know.
So who's in there? You said Windu?
Mace Windu and this. Okay, this clone is yellow, and I'm like, is this supposed to be Commander Cody? Isn't he yellow? I'm not a clone.
Yes.
Like, I love the Clone Wars, but I don't know the clones like that.
Cody does have yellow.
Well, okay, I guess it's Cody and Mace Windu, because that makes sense. Anybody else that might know clones better than me, please feel free to chime in.
Yeah, is there another prominent yellow clone? Let us know. Pawns.
Pawns?
Eli says pawns.
Alden, aren't you like a fucking trivia master? You should know the clones.
Oh, it is pawns. Oh, pawns from Geonosis, CT411.
Oh. Oh,
Look,
yeah.
I am the trivia master, but I'm not perfect. The clone area is... Oof.
Y'all hear that? If you have to face Alden, find a way to make him have to do clone shit. It's his weakness.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm the twice minted #1 contender, much to Jared's chagrin. I am the #1 contender of the league in 2 separate ways, and I will hold it over Jared for the rest of my life.
As you should.
Jared will have to beat me 5 times just to tip the scale in his favor.
Where? Oh, look at this gun. This is I feel like such a fucking loser when I call a gun in Star Wars, or a blaster in Star Wars, a gun. Look at this blaster, everyone. This isn't your mother's blaster.
They call them guns in Andor.
They do call them guns in Andor. You're right. Well, look at this clone's gun. This is not your mother's Lego gun. This is like a full one. Maybe that also just shows that I haven't done like Legos in forever. Now, I saw Mace Windu's lightsaber blade in the bag, but I cannot find it on my desk. Where the fuck did it go? How many matches has Jared lost? That's the real question.
How many has he lost? Well, to me, he's lost. To me, directly, he's lost in 4 different ways, and
Ooh.
that's why I hold it over him. Like
3.
I beat Jared in a standard match. I beat Jared in a Legends match of Legends only trivia.
Oh.
Then I eliminated Jared from the Hyperspace Gauntlet, which is just more me counting that as a victory over him because it's funny.
Yeah.
And then I beat Jared in an untelevised match that will never be seen by the public eye when we were both hammered on Thanksgiving.
Oh, I would do horrible.
I was drunk off my ass on Twitter talking shit at Jared, and he FaceTimed me. He's like, you want to go? You want to go? So we played. We did a 40 question Iron Man style best of 40 match, and it was not high scoring. It was very nasty, but I won. That's 4. I think other than that, Jared's been beaten by Scotty twice.
I saw one of those matches.
That was a lot.
It was a lot. It was a lot to watch. When I did my first Epic Confrontations match against Bedazzler Brooke, I was like, okay, if I have to do trivia, like I've done one trivia match in my entire life, which was this May the 4th. I did it at some local brewery because I was like, I want to do something fun for May the 4th, and there's not a bunch of fun stuff to do here. And I said, okay, I'll do trivia. Unfortunately, my parents, who also came, were not very helpful. And my best friend did know some of it, but she doesn't know as much as I do. So it was like me, essentially, versus teams of like 6 people who were all like at least on my level.
Right.
So it was a very hard game, but I did a lot better than I expected to. So when I started doing Epic Confrontations, I had that first match coming up. I'm like a perfectionist. I want to know everything and like be confident in what I'm doing. So I watched a couple matches, and I that's how I ended up seeing a lot of Jared's losing matches. I was supposed to be in the Hyperspace Gauntlet, but it just ended up being the same weekend when I was up in Michigan. So I hung out with Jerry, but yeah, neither of us could participate, unfortunately.
Jerry is a real threat.
I'm aware.
As it stands right now, your match with Jerry has not aired yet.
Correct.
So what happens? Time will tell. Even though we both know that.
Yeah, it was a good match.
And
though. It was a
very
lot
good
of fun.
match. Very good match. But everybody's gonna have to tune in to In a Galaxy to see the winner.
On
as it stands
Thursday.
right now, it's the lovely, illustrious Scotty Holiday. They face Jerry. The winner of that faces Jane Dalton. The winner of that faces me to decide who is the first actual champion of the league.
Ooh.
And then we also have Michael. I don't know if that's been announced yet, but Michael, my partner, has a singles match coming up. There's some other stuff going on. We've been shooting some cool story stuff, so it's building out. 2024 is going to be a good year.
Yeah, Eli said me and Jerry's match will be out on Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm excited to watch it back.
It was a good one. Really enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it too, and Jerry put up a good fight.
Jared has lost 3. In official EC, it's 3. Official EC. Don't matter. Oh, look at you. Look at the little clone. Look at little Mace.
I know.
My...
I don't know where his blade is at. I really can't find it. I'll find it as soon as we get off the stream. It'll be like under the book. I don't know. Okay. Where am I at Here I am. Not Jared has lost spiritually 17 times. That tracks. I'd believe
Jared
it.
loses spiritually every day. Every day Jared wakes up, it's a spiritual loss.
Oh my god! You are evil, Alden Diaz.
I do try.
No wonder they had you playing the villains.
Yeah.
It
Honestly.
works. It really works. That probably helps out when it comes to these little cutscenes y'all be filming too. There you go. So you're still doing theater.
Everything is a little bit theater, right? Like whether we think we're done or not, we really aren't, because I mean, it's gonna get really heady for a second, but being public facing in any way in a creative outlet, if that's content creation or any type of, artistic medium, whether you realize it or not, you're creating some sort of like frontward facing version of yourself.
Yep.
As
The best
theater.
parts.
Yeah, like it's just like what parts do I want to create? Like the Scotty Holiday character and Scotty Holiday the person. Like Scotty Holiday the person is definitely driving the boat, but they are not. They're there to have a good time, of course, and so it changes something about the way that you tap into your insecurities or all of that. So there are times where it's like putting on like the public facing like version of myself is like exhausting, but at the same time I've tried to blend them the best that I can. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I will say one thing that I do pride myself in is I'm big on authenticity. I don't like that fake shit. So I do try to bring a lot of myself into the content that I make. Sometimes it's easier than other times, but it's something that I strive to do. There's some creators that I wish also did that, but I can't speak for them. My biggest thing is, like, in the past when I've been more of a fan versus before I created my own content, I've always enjoyed the creators more that I feel like I know more about them past their content. Not in like a weird parasocial way, but like you said, like some people, and we both do it, I still do it, like I have to turn on to come like and get in front of the camera or whatever. But some people you can tell it's more of just like they really turn off when they're done, and those aren't my favorite people, but I'm not gonna name any names.
No, I mean, we start naming names. Oh, this is gonna be a fucking 5-hour stream. But no, I agree, and I think that it's hard because it can feel a little bit contradictory, because if we say as an active choice, I want to be authentic, then is it authentic? If you have to think about it and you try to do it, then are you doing it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't real authenticity just be something you didn't think about? So I get trapped in that cycle a lot, of where you don't even have the answer. But vulnerability is so important and so key, and I think it's why a lot of people succeed. Like, I use Alex and Molly as an example just because they're huge in this game. But it's like, I don't like Alex and Molly's Star Wars Explained videos because I need Star Wars explained to me. I like it because I like them.
Yeah.
That's the lifeblood of it. Like they are charming. I enjoy them doing it, and it's sort of like, it reminds me of something that like David Lynch has said about like new writers. Like, yeah, of course it's all been said before, but it hasn't been said by you.
True.
And that's the thing. Everybody can build a Lego set except me, but not everybody can build it the way that you do it and say what you have to say about it.
True. It's so funny that you mentioned Alex and Molly, because I also enjoy their content because I like them. They're probably the longest creators I've watched, because there are plenty that I started watching and no longer watch, nor fuck with.
Yeah.
And it's funny when I talk about like creators that I still actively watch, because so many people will be like, I don't like them, they're boring, and I'm like, well, I think they're fun and entertaining, but I like lore shit. So there's like a flavor for everybody.
Absolutely.
Where the fuck is this piece? Now this is where it's getting hard because every piece is black. And it's not.
I know, and
making it
I'm
easy.
looking at them here, and they're like marginally different lengths and things.
Yeah, this is the exciting, super fun stand. What am I doing? Oh, there we go. Okay. When it comes to the Star Wars content that you watch, like I said, I really enjoy lore shit. What do you enjoy most? Like, if you're actually sitting down to watch content, which I feel like I do that way less since I started making my own.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, it's so rare that I sit down for something that is a Star Wars thing, because I've already taken a part of my love for it and made that part public, and so it's like I've already given that up. And not to make it sound so negative, it's not necessarily negative, but like when you choose to make something a part of your output, you are giving up the intimacy that would come with it. And so I don't watch a lot of people's Star Wars stuff, I must say. I will tune in for friends things based on guest, or if I'm on it, then I'm paying attention. I'm on Bombadcast pretty frequently, and he would do different projects there, and I've helped sort of add my voice to certain things that they've done, like Bombad Court and different things like that. Force Center has always been my Star Wars podcast of choice, with Ken, Joseph, and Jennifer. But now I work with Ken, and I talk with Ken every day, and we have our own shows together and stuff. So it's like, as I've worked with him more and more, I listen to Force Center less and less because I know the man.
Yeah.
But it's not because I still don't like it. So it depends on the day. But when I am diving in, I want a rich thematic analysis, like why we care, what are the ideas, like give me that like AP English class shit, like what does it mean, like
that's the shit I'm not smart enough to create.
That's not true. That's so not true. And I'll tell you why, because you learned how to read. So you are on your way.
Well, I didn't say comprehension, but yeah, I did learn how to read.
You're like, I know the words, whether or not they come together. But no, you absolutely are. You're doubting yourself, but modest to a fault. But I love that stuff. Like, early pandemic days, like when I first became friends with Nikki, who I work with all the time and talk to every day, and it's like one of my best friends ever, from Imperial Senate podcast, and many other things. When we first became friends, I remember one of our first initial like bonding moments as buddies was I guested on their podcast and was talking about why, I understood why people were upset that Ahsoka's lightsaber color got changed from the book to Clone Wars Season 7.
Yeah.
But why I fucking loved that in story Anakin would change her lightsaber color without telling her, as like a surprise to match his. Like, it's about control, it's about refusing to let go, it's about trying to fix things that don't need to be fixed. There was nothing wrong with them, like, but he's like, maybe a little better. Like, it's but also on the positive side, she's about to cross the threshold into adulthood and tragedy and all these things, and she has that symbol of her older brother that she's carrying with her into her greatest battle. And so all that stuff of like what it all means is way more important to me than the details. Like, we joke about the trivia and everything, and like it's a lot of fun, but like the trivia to me is so low priority in terms of what is going on. Like, there are people that, and I love the visual dictionaries and poring over all that stuff, but it doesn't mean anything if we don't care about it, and if we don't see ourselves in it. So anything that sort of touches on that is the stuff that means the most to me. You know, the moment that fucking made me cry at Star Wars Celebration, and has made me emotional every time I've seen it since, is Grogu inside of his IG-12 mech suit, the no button, when he breaks up that fight between Paz
That
and
is a good
Axe.
moment.
Oh, it makes me so emotional because it's like the kids are so much better than we are, and we could just teach them a better way. Like, it's so poignant to like what's going on right now, and in the world, and you know, I look at my sister's kids and I wonder, like, are we making a better place for them at all?
See, this is why I said I want to go into Bacta for a little bit. Now we're getting back to that conversation.
Yeah, it's time to take a fucking break and wake up in 200 years, if there's anyone to wake us up.
True, but if it's a cute little ginger, like, I'd be okay with that. But I probably won't.
Little Cal Kestis wakes you up.
Well, not a little one, like a grown man, but yeah.
Brilliant. So yeah, I love heady shit. That's the stuff that gets me going.
I really don't understand what this like contraption is gonna. I'm not even gonna be able to put this on the stand because I have to like rebuild the shit. What would you say your favorite thing is outside of the Star Wars fandom, though? I mean, we talked about Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. You mentioned Doctor Who.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up on so much of this that it's all kind of second nature, and like it's sort of like Star Wars is one and everything else fights for two. I'm a big Marvel and DC fan. Been reading comics all my life. I've been watching wrestling all my life. And wrestling is a fandom more than it is a sport.
I used to
thing.
be
Like,
into wrestling.
Yeah, so you know, like, wrestling is theater, wrestling is drama, wrestling is
Yeah.
like a comic book. Like, people watch it and they're like, people know you watch it and they'll be like, you know, it's fake, right? It's like, yeah, bitch, Iron Man's fake. Like, it's all fake.
You
It's
were
not...
so right, because when I was into the WWE and shit, yeah, so many people were like, oh, you know, they're not really fighting. It's all pretend, and I'm like, what the fuck ever? If I'm enjoying it, let it be.
It doesn't matter. Everything is fake. I know there's no fucking Star Wars happening. And I know I can't go enlist for the Star War. There's no little cute goblin baby eating fucking cookies and shit using the Force. So yeah, I've always loved wrestling, Lord of the Rings.
Ooh, I love Lord. See, okay, so you must enjoy like fantasy then, because I always say like the Star Wars that I end up liking the most is fantasy, and like the other shit that I like when it comes to other fandoms is like Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I feel like there's another one I'm forgetting that's super fantasy, but
yeah, no, I am 100% with you. Like I like science fiction, I like Star Trek, I like, you know, other classics, Alien, different things, newer science fiction that comes out. But yeah, I mean, Star Wars is a fantasy. I die on that hill. It's not like it's not wrong. It's not wrong. It's not wrong to say Star Wars is science fiction. I'll never be like, actually, it's not wrong. But gun to my head, like if somebody's like, what is Star Wars? It's opera. It's fantasy.
They call it a space opera from the beginning. You ain't gonna be calling like Star Trek a space opera.
No, Star Trek is speculative science fiction about where we could actually go, what we could actually do. And it dips into fantasy the same way Star Wars dips into science fiction. But Star Wars is way more concerned with why than how. Star Wars will occasionally explain to you how a hyperdrive works, and if you really want to know, you can open up a visual dictionary. But
you know,
the things that matter are never fucking explained.
You know what's so funny about that? I have a great example. This is... I wouldn't consider this a spoiler from me and Jerry's match. It's just a question that I knew the answer to and second-guessed myself. So the question was... Where did Boba Fett say they placed a tractor on his ship in Attack of the Clones? And I'm sitting here in my head and I'm thinking, okay, what part of this ship do I know? Like, I don't know ships like that. That's not my strong suit. But I'm like, okay, well, the hull, that's a part of a ship. Then I was like, it can't be the hull because that's like too easy. That's like the go-to. And then, of course, the hull was the answer and I got it wrong. Because I was like, it's too easy. It won't be the hull. But then as I thought about it, I'm like, kind of like what you were just saying, Star Wars doesn't get super into the technical parts of it because like that's not the big thing. So picking the easy option, like I'm sure when George Lucas was sitting here writing this, he was like, oh yeah, what part of the ship is in the hull? I guess yeah, that's perfect. Everybody knows the hull. So
Yeah.
That's a perfect example of when I was like, God damn it, like yeah, the thing that makes the most sense, the easiest that everybody's gonna understand, that's gonna be the one. It's not gonna be this big technical crazy portion of the ship that's like big and fancy and has like a cool name to it. No, it's gonna be the one that's easily recognizable.
Yeah, and when things are complex, when things are mysterious or whatever, like, you know, the original is probably like the Dark Side Cave on Dagobah, or the Mirror Cave on Octo, or the Peridia, and all these things in these places and these abilities. Star Wars doesn't stop to be like, and this is how the Dark Side Cave works. You see, when you enter the dark, it doesn't fucking do that. It's not what it's concerned with. How does force projection work? It just fucking does.
Yeah.
It just does. It's not about how did Luke force project. It's about why did Luke force project.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the fact that he could have shown up and killed his nephew and he didn't.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is. And so when people get really testy about new abilities and new places and powers and things happening, like in Ahsoka, like, you can't go to another galaxy. Says who?
Right.
Says fucking who?
Like, why hasn't it been done already? Why is this the first time it's just happening?
I love Dave's explanation for that too in one of the interviews where he's like, well, if you watch Attack of the Clones, when Obi-Wan is looking for Kamino and they pull up the holograms, you can see other galaxies.
Well, and then there's the shot too, and if Eric's still here, he's gonna make fun of me because I need to rewatch the original trilogy because I don't remember everything perfectly. I think it's at the end of A New Hope.
The end of Empire, right?
End of Empire, where yeah, they look out the window and there's another galaxy, and that's another thing people are like, well, that doesn't make any sense because it won't just be right outside the window. But it was just a pretty shot.
And to those people, I say, why are you boring? Why are you boring? Why are people so hell-bent on trying to take the love out of things? Like, why do you come to the party, stand in the middle of the dance floor and say, why does this song sound like this?
Ooh,
it's like,
yeah,
you came to the fucking party.
Yeah.
Be present.
See,
or have the gall to go up to the DJ and make a request.
Yeah.
Tell us what you like. Or something.
Clips Films Melbourne said, if UCS gunships have both Phase 1 and 2 helmets, like Cloud City set some of duplicate minifig characters in different outfits. I'm trying to read this and it didn't make sense to me. I think what they're saying is, like, did they have both different outfits?
Oh,
unfortunately,
if UCS gunships have both Phase 1 and 2 helmets, like Cloud City said, some of the interesting.
Is this is a phase? Yeah, this is a Phase 1 helmet.
Yeah, it is. It's got the fin.
I'm sitting here. Oh, that's how you can tell. I'm like, does it have the cool little breathing hole things on the side of the mouth? That's my go-to to figure out what phase it is.
It's the fin and the shape is, the visor shape is more T. It's more Mando.
I didn't even realize until recently that Rex's helmet is like a combination of the two. And there's like a canon reason as to why.
I loved the observation that I didn't ever realize that the clones, especially the Phase 1s, look like Kaminoans and the B1 battle droids look like Geonosians. Like they're made in the image of their creators.
I did not realize that either.
Well, forget that I said that I saw it somewhere. It was my original observation. I came up with it.
I heard it from you, so
It was all, it was all me. Eli says Camino is technically in another galaxy. Is that true? Eli?
they say it's like in the Rishi maze or something, right?
Is it beyond the Rishi maze?
Is that another galaxy?
Eli, explain that to me. It's not that I don't believe you, but like, give me the information.
I need to stop looking at the pictures and actually look at the instructions. This is my problem with Lego. I look at the photos and I'm like, let me build it so it looks like the picture. I always need to pull like the pieces that I'm actually using, but I'm an adult, so I guess I'll do what I want.
You know what? You've earned that.
You're right.
You deserve that. You work hard. You're here to entertain.
You know, one thing I am bummed about, though, is I do wish I had the Venator. But I was like, I cannot swing $650 for the Venator. And I'm already struggling for space with the Gunship. So, like, trying to do the Venator would be, like, even crazier.
What was that really, really giant ass one? Was it a Star Destroyer?
Yeah, they did a Star Destroyer. I mean, that would make sense because a Star Destroyer's like... I don't know the specs, which is bigger, but I imagine a Star Destroyer would be large because the Venator is large. The Camino system was a wild space star system situated beyond the outer rim and just south of the companion galaxy known as the Rishi Maze. As a result, was sometimes considered extragalactic. Wikipedia. Yep, I feel that.
That's dope. That's gonna be a trivia question.
On
Which
it,
Skywalker Saga planet was technically not in the main galaxy?
I mean, you and I both knew the quote, so that's why. Well, let me not spoil anything, but I know some shit about Attack of the Clones. That's what I'll say.
Attack of the Clones is top 5 for me. I love that film very deeply. It's got everything that I like, and it was very formative for me. Especially having, being 6 when I saw it, and
Yeah.
you and I are only like a year and a half apart, so
I was 9, so
Shit rock.
it was very much 6-year-old Scotty was seeing The Phantom Menace, which was insane at the time, and then for my 9th birthday, I went to see Attack of the Clones, and it blew my mind, as one would expect. How the hell? What is your favorite Star Wars? I don't think I know the answer to that. Return of the Jedi?
yeah. Return of the Jedi, baby! I love it.
Did you
Very
cry?
deeply.
Did you go see it in the theater back a couple months ago?
No, actually. No, I didn't. I live in a really shitty area for theaters and stuff.
Oh.
So we only got to. It takes like a half hour to get to both of them, and I don't think they even had Return of the Jedi anniversary screenings. But it's
Oh.
okay because all the time in my house is a Return of the Jedi anniversary screening. I love that movie so much. Return of the Jedi, then Last Jedi for me at 1 and 2. Clones is comfortably at 5 usually, although depending on the day. I mean, Clones is always kind of number 1 in my heart. Again, just formative. Like everything about Hayden as a film hero, everything about Natalie as a film hero, and and just also being like a 6-year-old, just being like, oh my god,
Yeah.
girl, people are pretty. Like, my goodness.
Yep. Oh, Buck, you're back. How was the walk?
Nuck if you buck.
Oh, the poster was beautiful. Buck said it was the only movie that he hadn't actually watched in the theater. Loved the poster. I loved that poster too. It was really gorgeous. And I think I think I saw, which fact check me because I might be wrong, but I think the same person that did the really cool Empire Strikes Back poster, which you can't see, but it's my desktop computer background.
You're correct.
They did the same one. They did both of them, right?
Mm-hmm. It's Matt Ferguson.
Iconic artwork. I am obsessed. This poster behind me that I have for A New Hope, I think I'm gonna replace it with a Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back poster. Just because Empire's my favorite of the original trilogy. Oh, it's raining there? I'm sorry, Buck, that sounds miserable, but aren't you in Washington? Don't they say it always rains over there? Or is that a misconception? I really don't know where I'm gonna put this ship. That's a misconception. Okay. So, does it rain a lot, but not like as much as people say? The only place on the West Coast I have been is to LA. And it was not a very great trip because I didn't plan anything to do. Okay. This is the weirdest fucking looking stand. Oh, and that's where the little people are gonna go. Okay. It's all coming together. Just as I have foreseen. I think my the one thing I'm really bad about Legos, other than missing pieces, is the stickers. They are the biggest pain in my ass.
Yeah. The placement would give me anxiety.
Well, so my friend Jonah, who I had on here for a stream, mentioned that putting the stickers on the edge of this little orange piece and placing them makes it a lot easier. And I will say, since I started doing that, it has made my sticker placement a lot easier.
I love Jonah, by the way. Jonah, we had some good times. We had some good times overseas.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We got pizza. We got turnt. We drank.
I also love Jonah. It was funny because before I had him on a stream, like you, I had never actually been on video with him before. Like we've like been friends since I kind of got into the online fandom, but we had just never so we've like chatted and stuff, but we never had actually gotten on camera and did anything or like collabed. And I was nervous because for him, these streams are at they start at 2 a.m. and they go until 4. So, I was like, hey bestie, I'd love for you to come on. And I thought, the worst he's gonna say is no, because it's too late. But he was like, yeah, if we set a date in the future, I can make it happen. So he was a trooper and came and hung out, and it was really great.
That's lovely.
What
a treat. What a treat there.
Buck in the comments, Jonah is sexy. He is also a very great person. Okay, shit. Now I have to try to put this together. Okay. I think what I need to do first is try to fix what I broke. Oh, Clipped Film says, fun fact, Jim Henson, who did Muppets, did used to collab with Lucasfilm for the original trilogy. And I can't, the stupid little reaction thing. Oh, and weird crossover Star Wars and Muppets. Well, yeah, because, we had Puppet Yoda. There's plenty of, puppetry in the original trilogy for sure. So that
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yoda's technically a Muppet, and would have been Henson himself, and Henson recommends Frank. So it's all history. I mean, the fact that Yoda and Miss Piggy have the same actor.
Oh my god, I had no idea. That's insane. That's hilarious. I really don't know how I fucked this up. Okay. We are gonna make this whole again. I am gonna fix this. It's gonna be gorgeous. Oh, what did you say? Oh, I see, about nubs. Young Jedi Adventure Legos finally made from Bear in the Big Blue House. I mean, nubs, blue.
He is kind of like Tutter. That's right. There are some fucking funny Tutter memes. Were you a Bear in the Big Blue House kid?
In passing, I guess I could say, I was kind of like grew up with my grandparents in a sense of like they watched me and my cousins while our parents were at work, and so it would be on, but the only person that watched it was like my youngest cousin at the time. So I don't. Is it the little like cook guy? He wears like a chef hat or something.
You know, Tutter is a little mouse, a little blue mouse that looks like nubs. That's why he's saying that.
Okay, I'm thinking of the same person. Maybe he has a chef hat on at some point.
Maybe, yeah.
Or maybe there's a meme with him with a chef hat. I don't know.
The bear. That, what an era that was. Remember the comfy couch, the big comfy couch, or whatever? That show fucking rocked.
Yeah. What the fuck did I do? I have to like stand up to figure this shit out. Well, it's done. I just have to put it together. This feels so anticlimactic because I'm like, oh, that's because that piece doesn't go there. Okay, now we're on track. I will be able to put this all together beautifully for everyone to see. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. Let's attempt to put this bad boy back in.
How pretty it is.
Oh, bye, Buck. Thanks for hanging out. It was good to chat with you.
Bye, Buck.
I know one of my favorite things, Alden, if you look on this screen, the Lego screen, you see like the little missiles here, they actually turn. It's just like little details like that I love.
That's awesome, yeah. That is really cool.
I know, this has been a really weird set to build because, like, you know, we talked about Legos as kids and kind of the way that those are set up, but like these UCS Legos, what they consider like 18 plus, like there's some weird building techniques that they use to like get these Legos together. Like,
do you feel like you're comfortable in your 18 plus demographic?
The majority of the time, yes. However, times like this where shit just like won't go, no.
Here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
What is your dream Star Wars Lego build that they haven't made? Like, is there a ship that you're like, do that, or a location, or a structure?
I don't know if I'd say it was my dream, but something that I've wanted that I think is a huge missed opportunity is the Mantis. Like,
yeah.
Why don't we have a Stinger Mantis Lego? They made BD1, so like,
yeah,
they were open to making stuff, but I've seen a lot of creator sets, like where they've created things from Fallen Order and stuff. They've always been super awesome. But what about you? I know you don't really do Legos, but what's the one set that they could make that would make you buy the Lego?
Great way to phrase that. You honestly want to know? This would fucking rock, and it would sell gangbusters. Do the actual castle tower that Thrawn is held up in.
Oh, yeah,
Peridea. The Witch Kingdom of the Dathomiri.
See, we love that because it's so right out of Lord of the Rings.
Exactly, and just that the imagery of the Chimera docking by just sort of settling on top of the tower is still just incredible. And yeah, I love that there was a literal 3 knights on kind of horseback storming a castle full of magic and darkness and undead and like that shit. That's what gets us, you know.
Yep. I am right there with you. I lost a piece again. I feel like I can't... Oh, knock the camera. I feel like I can't, like, stop. I need to put this together on screen. We gotta go out in style. Here we go. There's the piece I was missing. Okay. And then I'll have to attempt to show this in my little window. Oh shit. There I go dropping pieces. Alright. Pods are on. So let me kind of lift this up so we can see everything.
Look at that. Oh, I love the turret. Little sphere. I've always loved that.
Yeah, that's it. Those were 2 of the things that I built tonight. They're a little finicky, I feel like. I don't trust their stability, but that's why this is not a toy. This is a adult Lego, so it's gonna sit on a beautiful stand, and it's gonna be perfect.
It is a display piece. It's a conversation starter.
Exactly. Though I think I'm gonna have to change the direction of the stand because I don't want Mace Windu in the back.
Right.
Well, while I put this on the stand, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, Alden? Because it's in the chat, but let everybody know.
Of course. You can find me personally at that Alden Diaz, ThatAldenDiaz, on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, Hive, all those places. I'm the creator and host of Octa Radio, a Star Wars podcast, which was pretty much on break all throughout the strikes. And then I took another break because I launched with Ken Knapsack Anytime with Ken and Alden, our weekly real sort of true blue radio show that we do middays on Friday. And that's where we're talking about culture, life, politics, news, all that stuff. We're both radio guys, and so, but Octa Radio is coming back. So those are my 2 main projects. Got some Star Wars interviews that I am working on lining up with some people from a TV show that we all just watched. So hopefully some of those will work out. And then you can find me as well contributing different places around the internet. And yeah, tweeting about Dua Lipa and wrestling.
I can attest to the Dua Lipa. I'm aware that
queen.
You are a very big Dua Lipa fan, and I love that. Thank you for coming out and hanging out and being here for my last LEGO stream of 2023, which seems crazy to say. Make sure you all go follow Alden, and like I said, his links are in the description. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, follow me on every social media, basically that Alden named, Scotty Holiday SW. And I hope everybody has a great night, Happy New Year, and may the Force be with you.